How to find your perfect sensitivity. You go into aimbot, you pull all the sides up, just like I did. You go to the middle, you find one of these sides, you make a dot in the middle, and then you have to flick 180 degrees and hit the other side in the middle without lifting your mouse from your mousepad. If you can do this, then you have a good sensitivity. So how do I find my sensitivity? Usually you want to go with 400 dpi, which is your mouse sense, and then you want to go with your in-game sensitivity. Usually it's between 1.5 to 2.5. So the lower end of the scale is a lot more consistent, but you have a little bit harder time to do flicks, and you aim a lot more with your arm. And higher sensitivity is a lot easier to flick, but you are a little bit more inconsistent. So again, there's pros and cons with everything. My best recommendation is try a little bit and see what you like the most. But again, whenever you settled on a sensitivity, don't start changing your sensitivity if you want to like concentrate or aim a little better in the moment. It's only going to ruin your muscle memory in the long run. If you want to see my sense is currently 2.2 in the game with 400 dpi, so I'm a little bit to the higher side. Flicking. We shoot all three sides plus one at the end, so we only have one side you can shoot at in aimbot. And then you wanna hit as many targets as possible. Doesn't matter if you hit it fast, you just have to be accurate. So if you hit the target, better be safe than go for the fast hit. We're practicing accuracy at the start lead, and then when you feel like, okay, I'm warm, I'm hitting my shots, you can start building it up, going faster, hitting the shots. But all you want to do, you still want to be as accurate as possible when you try to film, especially with the Okay, try and switch you off. How do you practice flicking with an op? You aim a little bit off the bot, or you can flick from bot to bot, as I do here. You can also later on, I'll show you, you can flick from the up to down, and down to up, and cross, and this is how I practice the op. So up and down, and again, flicking, I just start a random spot, and I try to flick to my target. I always think, okay, I'm aiming to the target. It's not like, oh, I'm just gonna hit some random spot. When you've done this, you can go into your practice, you can start a challenge, and then you can see how many bots. My fastest time when I tried this was 55. My record is 46 seconds though. Tracking. What is tracking? Tracking is you follow the bot with your crosshair all the time. So you keep your crosshair on the target all the time, or try to, as much as I can. So I can just follow the target. So you get into this map called bot_training_dust, and there's this bug where you can't select CT, so you type mp_human_team_any, then you select your CT. Okay, you see there's no bots. First I pick my weapon, take my AK and press E on it, press E on my deagle, and I add 4 bots pressing E again to take up. Okay, and then you follow the bots pretty much. Yeah, once I've all of them. Want to follow the bots, all the one-taps, bursting, spraying. One tap. Next topic is strafing. Okay, what is strafing? Strafing is pretty much, so when I press, for example, D, and I let go, I keep moving after I let go of the key. Same goes for A, I move, I let go, I keep moving a little bit. So this is strafing. Again, you want to stop to complete 0. Stop to complete 0. Takes me like maybe half a second to actually stop before I can shoot. Okay, how do you practice this though? How do you practice your strafing? So if I go down, I hold A, I look to the left, and then I keep poking the wall all the way down. I can go on the other side, hold D, look to the right, like this, and then I can go. So what you want to do, if you strafe, strafe, strafe like this, that's an egg. So now the interesting part, guys, counter strafing, which means when I press A, I press D to stop. Means I stop instantly and I don't keep moving for like half the second. And when I do that, I have like a split second where I can shoot very accurately. That's why you want to counter strafe every time you like clear an angle or want to shoot. Make sure a harder target because you're moving, but you can also hit because you're stopping sometimes when you switch direction. You can see I'm doing it here, shooting all the bots. You can also practice this in another way. You can go up against the wall, shoot bullets up against the wall. Every time you press, for example, D, you press A to stop. Or if you want to go to the other side, you press A and press D to stop. And you just keep going and try and hit as many accurate shots as possible. If you manage to do this, if you have mastered this, you can try and burst, shoot 2 to 3 bullets every time you counter strafe, which makes it a lot harder. But again, it's worth it because you mastered counter strafing, you added another layer to your strafing. Prefires and pre-aiming. What is prefires? What is pre-aiming? It's when you line your crosshair up, or you aim up, and then you peek a corner and you shoot before you even see the guy. It means you shoot like a pre-fire, common spots where people can stand. Why is this strong? Because they usually have no idea that someone is there. It's also a good idea pre-fire when you are alone. You don't ruin like a surprise or something like that. But like a good pre-fire spot, you always want to pre-fire. It's like CT on B Inferno, for example. Like you come banana, you're T, someone is usually always playing CT. So that's a pretty good pre-fire spot. Always want to pre-fire that. But why is pre-aiming good? Can't be very, very strong because it means you don't have to move your aim at all, even if they aren't there. Again, you don't have to shoot, but you can still pre-aim. Means I have my crosshair on it, but I place it as I would pre-fire, but I'm not gonna shoot, which means even if he is there, okay, I'm still gonna react like instant if he's there. Again, also, how do you do your pre-fires? Basically, it's so you only peek one angle at a time. You don't want to over peek, you don't want to peek multiple angles at a time. It means you have to flick a lot, you have to clear stuff. You just want to peek one angle at a time. I'm trying to do here, but I'm not the best at it. Peeking. Why is it so important to peek the right way? You will win a lot more duels if you use the right peek in the right situation. For example, if you want to peek an AWPer who's holding an angle, and you don't have a flashbang to flash him off the angle, you can bait out their shot by showing your shoulder. So you show the peek, you don't peek fully out so you can see them. You just stay close to the angle, show your shoulder, and you want to bait a shot from him. When he shot at you and he misses, you can swing on him and you can kill him. This shoulder peeks only really works against an AWPer, and it's only really to bait out the shot. Another form of peeking is jiggle peeking. Jiggle peeking means you peek a tiny angle just to get the information. If you see someone is holding the angle, you can go back and pre-fire him. You can either swing or you can just do a little jiggle peek again and pre-fire the angle. Usually in lower ranks, people hold the angle, they don't really move, which means you win the duel 90% of the time if you go out and pre-fire him after you have the information. Which makes jiggle peeks very, very strong to get information. You can also jiggle peek an angle if you're holding the corner, just to get information. If you see someone, you can instantly smoke and you can pull back. So jiggle peeks are usually used to get information. Okay, let's go to a little bit more advanced peeking. Let's talk about peeker's advantage. What is peeker's advantage? It basically means if I peek an angle, it means I will always see the guy who's holding the angle first because I'm peeking. It's about the delay of the game. Another thing to peeking is you always want to peek from the left to the right. So you always want to peek from the left to the right, which means you can always see them first. If you peek from right to left, they can usually see a tiny bit of your body before you can see them. So let's take an example. Let's take long corner on those two. Okay. I have placed the bot on the corner, so you can see just a scenario. So the bot is close to the angle. I'm far from the angle. So who's gonna see who first? I'm gonna see the bot first, because I'm further away from the corner. Also, I'm peeking from the left to the right, which means I can see his shoulder, his arms, his legs, before he can even see me. Okay, there's one more thing you need to know. You don't peek with your W key. You never want to press your W key. You never want to move forward whenever you take a duel, whenever you peek. When you peek, you strafe, which we talked about earlier, which means you press your A and D keys to strafe, counter strafe out in the angle, which makes it a lot easier to stop and shoot. And you don't have to, when you press your W key, it means you have to counter strafe by pressing S, which is a lot harder than pressing A and D. That's why you want to strafe out instead. Whenever you then peek an angle, you want to have your crosshair placement close to the wall. So you always want to clear with your crosshair, seeking out the opponent. So you can instantly counter strafe, stop, shoot. If you peek with your crosshair placement hard, you have to flick a lot, which means you'll lose a lot on your duel. And your reaction time is a lot slower compared to if you peek with your crosshair. So your crosshair follows the angle you want to peek. It means you're gonna have a lot faster reaction time, you're gonna have a lot more easy kills, especially in lower ranks. Then we have a few more peeks to cover. The white peek or the famous Ferrari peek, it's the same thing. This peek is highly effective if you have the information about where someone is and you want to commit 100% to the duel. It's very strong because people hold the crosshair in a position like a normal peek in headshot angle, for example, very close to the wall. It means if you go past the crosshair placement, they have to move the crosshair, which makes them slower, their reaction time is slower, and you What is the downside by this white peek then? It's if you don't have any information about the opponent and you accidentally peek into an angle and they stand in another angle, which means you have to flick, you have to adjust your aim a lot more than they have, which makes you lose the duel 90% of the time. It's also worse in situations to peek without information because you can peek into two people at the same time because you are more open to angles compared to if you just peek the angles one by one. You take one duel at a time. We have one peek left to talk about. Crouch peeking is especially strong combined with the wide swing. Why is the crouch peek good? It's very good because people usually hold the crosshair in headshot height, which means they have to flick down and they have to flick wide as well, which means it's a lot harder to adjust your crosshair, which means they need more time to kill you than if you just run right into the crosshair. They can just tap you once and you're dead. So this gives you more time to kill them before they can kill you. Crouch peeking into AWP angles are especially dangerous because they're gonna have the crosshair on your body. They don't care if you crouch peek. They're just gonna hit your headshot instead of a body shot. Means you're gonna die anyway. If you really wanna peek an AWPer like this, you have to jump, which means he's probably leg shotting you instead. You don't die, but you're gonna go down to 50% HP. So it's very good if you wanna jump peek an AWPer or an angle. Get your teammate to follow up. You swing wide, they peek normally. So when the AWPer shoots after you, your mate peeks and he kills him. This is very effective in team play. If you don't have any flashes, any utility to throw him off the angle. So this is it about peeking, guys. I hope you learned a little bit more about peeking. Okay, so common angle to hold, it's this corner, right? Can't be strong because you can take your peeks as you want. You can peek into corners, which means you have peek as advantage, as we just talked about. It's very bad angle if you're just gonna hold it here, unless you have an AWP, because you're usually gonna lose your duel. What is a good angle then? Okay, let's go over to B side. That's a lot easier to explain. A good angle, for example, can be new box. Means I can hold this angle at the start, which means they're usually gonna peek into my crosshair. I can take one duel here, I can one tap them, I can go back to cover. Okay, they're gonna run past, I can take another duel over here in pool. Okay, if I miss, I can go back to cover. If I kill him, okay, I can still go back to cover. And then I can find a new duel, maybe someone pushed up here. I can isolate the duel, so I get one-on-one duels constantly. So take this fight first, against one guy, one-on-one, okay, I go back, take another duel over here, one against one. I take the next duel over here, one against one. Okay, maybe next one's gonna push up, I can hold the angle, I can peek into him. I can decide what I'm gonna peek, which means I have the best success rate to win the duels, because I take the duel against one person, take against the next person, and next person. I'm never fighting two people at the same time, which means this is a very good position, because I can keep going back to cover, I can peek deciding. I can decide, okay, what am I gonna peek next? I can also decide, okay, I can move for a flash. Boom, I can flash. Or if they molly me, I can peek the other side. Or I can go for the smoke. I can peek here, for example. Or I can just stay. I go in for my teammates to hold me. If they cross to me, okay, he's gonna kill them. If they decide to shoot at him, I can peek out, help him. So this position, new box, very, very strong, because you can isolate your duels. Same thing goes for pillar here. You can start taking a fight here, you can go next over here, you can keep balancing. It's a lot harder to do it here. New box is very, very strong, very, very good position. Okay, now you know about position. You always, again, you want to take the duel from left to right, so this angle, very strong. If you stand over here, peeking this angle, or like this angle, not very strong. You're close to the angle, you're peeking from the right to the left, which means they're gonna see you first, because they're far away from the corner, which means if they just pre-aim you here, you're pretty much dead. The only reason to win this is you catch them off guard, or you hit a time. Okay, so the angle I was talking about before is this angle. You're still peeking from the right to the left, but they can't see your head is covered by this, which means they can't really hit your head. A lot of easy kills. If you crouch, they can see your head, you just stay up here and you keep shooting. The only reason they really win a duel is they get over here, then they can see you pretty easily. But if they just run into side, this angle is powerful. Oh. Okay, that's about angles, about positions. Let's talk about off angles. This is a lot easier to explain than long. So let's see, we have an angle here. That's a line. Okay, they're gonna peek you here. You're holding that angle. Okay, what's the next thing they're gonna peek? Next thing they're gonna peek is this angle. Okay, what's the next angle they're gonna peek from here? It's most likely that's a line. Okay, so if I go and I hold an angle like this, which means I catch them off guard, it's an off angle. They don't expect me to be here. I am out in the open, which means I'm 100% committed to the fight. If they flash me, I'm probably gonna lose. So if they flash, I'm probably gonna lose the duel. Although, if they just decide to go out, they pre-aim this. Okay, next thing they're gonna pre-aim this, and next thing they're gonna pre-aim is over here. So if they pre-aim here, and I pre-aim here, which means I walk right into you if you stand here, means okay, I go out, I have to flick. Usually, you're gonna have an easy first kill here. If they then gonna swing the next one, they usually go for trade for you. This is a very, again, off angle. Off angles, usually one and done positions. They can be powerful. Also, you peek here. Next angle you can take. So you peek here. Next angle you can take is here. Again, no one's really gonna clear this. Again, you can go over here. Next position. Next position. And you can also go up here. So off angles can be strong, especially long here is very strong, because you can peek, take one kill, fall a little bit back, fall back, fall back. So you can they keep gonna run into your crosshair, no matter what you do. Again, off angles, very much in the open, so a simple flash over here, and you're pretty much blind all the time. So be aware when to use off angles. If you're like lower ranks, you should probably stick to normal positions, because most people are not going to pre-fire you anyway. But in higher levels, if you play an angle like this, I will guarantee you 100% of the people will pre-fire you here. So this position is a lot harder to play in higher ranks, but in lower ranks, pretty good position to hold here. It's hard for you to hit, they can only see your head, you have a lot of vision, a lot of time to kill. And you can always fall back whenever you want. Where in higher ranks, people usually pre-aim a lot of stuff. So sitting in a weird angle, an off angle like this, will guarantee you an easy kill sometimes. If people are far apart or they're not that good at trading, you can easily catch one off guard and then immediately fall back, take a new position. Okay guys, we gotta go through what is best. We have 3 different ways of shooting. We have tapping, where we shoot one. We have bursting, a few bullets, 2 to 8 bullets. And then we have spraying. And we have spraying, where we just hold the mouse button in as far as we can. Okay, let's start with tapping. It's where we shoot once, and not more. That's why you can do one tap as well. Only shoot once. Trying to aim for that. You can tap hard. So usually you try to aim that. It's called tapping. This is usually better on long distances where you have a hard time to spray. If you spray like in long distances, like try to my spray's all over the place. So it's better to just for me to tap it. Okay. Bursting. 2 to 8 bullets. We go like first. Stays in the middle. I can clear this. Like this. Okay, if you want to practice it, you go into aimbots, like I am right now. You no-clip to the middle, like this. You can just write no-clip in your console, and you can fly around. Boom. And now I have bind, so I'm just pressing the bind, and I'm stopping with the no-clip. Else you can type no-clip again. Okay, I stand in the middle of all these spots, and then I try to shoot 2 to 8 bullets and kill as many spots as possible. So I start with this spot, and I try to transfer it over to this spot. I go like this. Try to kill 2 bots, 2 to 8 bullets every time. So I'm trying to aim for the head every time, which means it's more likely to be in the one shot. Just try to control it. That's a way to practice your bursting. Then we have spraying, the last thing. Okay. So what is a spray? It's where you hold your mouse button in and you shoot all your bullets at the same time. So let's try and see, if I don't move my mouse at all, what does a spray look like? It looks something like this. If I go further away, try again. It looks something like this. Okay, which means I have to readjust my aim, the exact opposite of this, so it has to go down, to the left, to the right, and then back to the middle. Okay, that's how the spray pattern is. Like this, I go to aimbots, and I try to shoot all my bullets at the same time and try to kill as many bots as possible. I try to hit the head all the time, like. Okay. I don't want to crouch, I just want to keep. Okay. This is what we call a spray transfer. Means I'm spraying and then switching target to the next one, to the next one. So that's what you're transferring your spray. You are transferring your spray over to the next target. It's called a spray transfer. This. Boom. Okay. If you want a little bit more detail how to practice this, you can also go onto a wall. If you're new to spraying, like this, and try to hit the middle here. If you're not that good at the game yet, you can get a workshop map called Yprac Recoil Trainer, like this one. We go into it. Okay, we enter the map. We jump on the big circle in the middle here. You can see over here where it's practice mode. It's on aim right now. We want to go to recoil. Then you see this big thing in the middle, big screen in the middle. You want to go here in the middle of this, the green line, the white line. Start here in the middle. And then when I start shooting, there comes a green crosshair. I have to follow the green crosshair as best as I can to learn the spray pattern here. Alright, let's try again. So the higher the score, the better your spray is. Okay. So my routine starts with CSGO Hub. When I go in CSGO Hub, I go for the KC movement, just to warm up my wrist and my arm, so I'm hitting my flicks a lot better. You can see how I'm doing it here. You can also decide to either serve, so you have focus on your strafing, or you can go into bunny hopping, or bee hopping, which is also just to warm up your wrist. But if you want to focus on something, you should probably go in the surf map, then you learn your strafes a lot more. You want to spend around 5 to 10 minutes just to warm up your wrist and your arm so you can aim a lot better. After that, we want to go into aimbots. In aimbots, we take down the free sights. We want to have a lot more focus on flicking and accuracy. So we take it slow, we try to hit every single time in the head only. Doesn't have to be fast, you just have to be accurate, you have to hit your shots. Whenever you feel like you're hitting your shots, okay, you can go a lot faster. Whenever you hit around 500 kills first time, you want to take the aim challenge and shoot 100 bots as fast as you can. But you still want to be accurate. The more accurate you are, the faster you can kill 100 bots. You don't want to panic and tap as fast as you can. It just means you are not going to hit anything. You want to do this 3 times. So you take 3 challenges. And you want to kill at least 1,600 bots. This can take between 15 minutes to around 20 minutes. It shouldn't take any longer. Make sure you aren't tense whenever you aim train. Make sure you are as relaxed as possible. This makes your muscle memory kicks in a lot faster and it's a lot easier to aim. If you tense up, you're gonna be very, very fast, but you're gonna miss a lot of shots. As you can see here, my time is 50 seconds per 100 kills. My record is 46 seconds. So if you really want, you can try and beat my record. Next up, we want to go into bot_training_dust, which is this map you see here. This is for your tracking, as we talked about earlier in the guide. What you want to do here is you want to kill around 100 to 150 bots with the AK. You want to go for one-taps only. And you want to try and track the bots as you can, so you follow the bots. Whenever you have 100 to 150 kills with your AK, you take the deagle and you try to get 50 to 100 kills with your deagle. After this, we go to the next map. Next up, we have CSGO hub again. This time around, you want to go for the rush mode, which helps you with your flicking and your reflexes. So you have to be fast and you have to be accurate, have to hit all the targets while they're running to you. So in this mode, if they cross the line, you can see the big line in front of you, then the rush will reset. You want to do this for around 250 kills, take a break on 1 to 2 minutes, go again, so sets of 3. So at the end you want to have at least 750 kills. And then we move on to the next mode. And the second last thing we're gonna do, we're gonna go into Prefires. I decided to pick Overpass because I feel like my Prefires and Overpass are a little off lately. So what you want to do, you want to shoot all the bots as you can. You want to pick the hard mode. If you have tried this a lot before, I'd recommend you can go the ultra hard mode, which is the 4-star. Else you just pick the 3-star, which means every time you kill a bot, you gain 50 HP back. So the important part about this pre-fire is, again, you peek one angle at a time and you get to know all the angles on the map. This is very helpful, especially in lower ranks if you're a little bit newer to the game. This is definitely helpful for higher ranks as well, since this is all the common spots people play and you can pre-fire them all the time, which means you get better cross-up placement as well. So the last thing I recommend you do is you go into community servers. You type FFA under the internet tab at the top. Then you see a lot of servers coming up. You want to find one with DM, free for all, and then you want to look to the right and see, okay, is there, how many people are on the server? And then you join the server you want to play on. I joined one here. to play deathmatch. This is basically just your warm-up for games before you go into any game. You can also use this training or this last bit instead of deathmatching. You can focus on your recoil control or other parts of your gameplay you think you're missing. It could be strafing, it could be movement, it could be whatever. Remember, invoke the wrath.